Hey Jarrod, this is Brett with My Music Lessons, and we're going to work on a couple of key points. First, to practice your soloing, continue using your open strings, and then doing the whole, half, whole, half. You also want to practice this in reverse, so after you go all the way up, go back down, so think half, whole, half, whole. Once you can get that just mastered on one string, which you should be able to do in about 10 minutes, you get it for free on the other strings. And the important concept is whatever note you start on, if you do the whole, half thingy after that, it means you're playing that scale in the key that you started with. Okay, all that to say, if I start with a G note, and then I go whole, half, whole, half, that means it's the major scale in the key of G. Same thing here. If I start on a C note, and then do the whole, half thingy, then that means it's the major scale in the key of C. Same thing with the E, same thing with the A. So you just learned the major scale in 4 different keys by just working on that. Another thing to think about is that you can play the C major scale, right? We started from a C, on different strings. I could go open, second, and then open on the next string down, the E. Then 1st fret, 3rd fret, open, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. And I was using a particular finger for each of those notes. The idea is, if you want to play a note at a particular spot, assign a finger to that fret. In this case, I'm just going to say the pointer finger is not going to get used. And then I would do, if I go to the 2nd fret, I'm going to use my ring finger, then open again, then middle finger, then pinky, then open, ring finger, pinky. So that's why I would play a particular note with a particular finger, which you also answers the question of how do I know what finger to use when I'm looking at tabs. Just look at the first note, say the first note would be this, and the second note would be this. Well, I'll just assign the pointer finger to that open thing, and then use my ring finger. So, there you go, and then work on it in reverse. So that was the second step. So that was working on the major scale on different strings. The third thing is going to be more of a finger picking pattern. The most important thing here is to keep your palm planted on the bridge, not over the strings themselves, but just kind of behind this white line, right? This is the bone, yeah. And say we're going to do Hallelujah from a C to an A minor. Well, the idea is I'm just keeping the base of my palm planted there on the bridge, right at the bottom point of the thumb, actually. So I'm not trying to keep the whole thing down, just that point where the base of the thumb is. Then I'm going to use the thumb, pointer, middle, and ring fingers. Relax your hand and just pick with the side of your thumb out, and then each finger you want to pull in. So you're not trying to pull something straight up, because then that makes our palm leave. Just relax it, keep the palm there, and curl each finger in. I'll do that one more time. To the C, to the A minor. Okay, the last thing we talked about, which might not make a lot of sense right now, but it will later, is when we do, say, a C chord, a C major, it's almost like we're barring the open fret. So we can make this C major turn into a D major by moving it up one full step. The same way that a scale moved up from a C to a D note, a C major chord can turn into a D major chord, and up another full step turns into an E major chord. Moving everything up a half step turns into an F major chord, and then up another full step would be G major, which you can check against your first position chords. Right? So I had C major, I had D major, which sounds a lot like the D, slightly different though. I had E major, which sounds a lot like this, but like I said, a little different. I had F, which sounded... They sound different, but it's still the same chord, and then once again G. So just think of each of these shapes, like this is, think of it as a particular voice, meaning this is like one person saying a D, this would be another person saying a D. They're saying the same thing, but it'll sound different because of the shape of their voice. So each chord has different voice shapes. So that is all we got. Have fun practicing.